get plus 500 FPS on your computer. I promise you, I'm not a liar. Yo, what is good, YouTube? I'm Toxicity TV, back with another video. As you guys can tell from the title of this video, we will be doing a Fortnite FPS increase. Now lately, a lot of you guys have been asking me, where am I at? I haven't dropped a video in like, what, 2 to 3 weeks? If anything more than that. In my previous video, I said that I had left the Fortnite competitive scene / arena movement. I was just not feeling it, guys. You know, I explained myself, and I said that I switched to Gears 5, which before I made this video, I was playing Gears 5. But a lot of you guys have been getting, upset at the fact that I'm not posting Fortnite videos. And I want to make videos for people to enjoy themselves and for me to have fun. So I realized I can do that through Fortnite, and Gears I won't have as large of an audience. I love the game, but it got too repetitive, and I don't like having to play the same game over and over and over again. But yeah, so as I got onto Fortnite, I realized for some reason that my FPS was dropping a lot, and I had added 8 gigs to my computer, 8 more gigs of RAM to my computer, and I added Fortnite to an SSD instead of my hard disk drive. So HDD to an SSD, and in total I have 16 gigs of RAM to play Fortnite, and that increased my FPS a lot actually. But I realized that a lot of you guys can't do all that, but you guys do have certain OS systems such as mine, Windows 10, and you guys can improve your performance for Fortnite, or just for any type of task that you're trying to handle. Let's not hold any more of your time. Let's get straight to the video. So the first thing that you guys are going to want to do is open up your Fortnite and go to this video tab. Now for the ones on console, you guys don't have this accessibility, so stay tuned for a little bit. So first thing you're going to want to do, make sure window mode is on full screen. This allows for your game to be fully rendered within the full resolution of your monitor and your game. Now display resolution is all dependent on your specs of your computer. You can play at 1280 by 720, 1600 by 900, 1920 by 1080, or if you play a new stretched, you can play with anything lower than this. But me personally, I run at a 1920 by 1080. Frame rate limit, my computer is at 60 hertz, but my computer can run up to 500 FPS. So right now I just play at an unlimited frame rate so that I get the highest frame rate possible. But then again, that's also dependent on your specs. Quality, don't click anything. 3D resolution, make sure this corresponds with your display resolution, because if not, it's going to look a little funky and a little bit blurry. You can downscale this if necessary, but I honestly think once you start downscaling this, you're sacrificing too much of your quality for your performance, which is unnecessary. Next thing, view distance. A lot of people think that the person that they're shooting at is affected. How far they are and how far they can see a person is affected by the view distance being at epic, which is not true. So make sure that is on near. Shadows, make sure that's off. Anti-aliasing, off. Textures, lately there has been a lot of Reddit posts saying that this affects performance and increases FPS. For me, I believe that it doesn't, but at times I can see that it does. So that's all up to personal preference and your personal computer capabilities. But for me right now, I'll just say and suggest to keep textures low. Effects, make sure that's on low. Post-processing low, unless you want to see, the corners of certain screens and grass and buildings and stuff like that. That will be affected. But for now, I suggest low. VSync off, motion blur off, show FPS, personal preference. For me in the video, I keep it on so that I can see the FPS right here in this corner, and allow multi-threaded rendering on. That is hugely dependent on your processor. Basically what this does is it allows the different cores within your processor to be used. So sometimes your computer CPU will just manage about 4 of 8 cores of your CPU, which technically if you have 8 you have 16 threads, but right now we're talking about cores. So 4 cores are used out of 8. That's just an example. By putting this on, it will allow 8 of the 8 to be used, which means that it allows max potential. But then again, that also depends on your processor, because if you have a weak and low end processor, this will only decrease performance in FPS. But for me, I keep this on. You're going to want to apply that, and then what you're going to want to do is go to your game and make sure that your matchmaking region is on the smallest amount of time. MS represents milliseconds, so whatever this number is, for me, I'm on NA East, that's 7. Make sure that's the smallest number possible. All this is just settings. Go down to your feedback tab where it says Nvidia highlights. If you use that as your clipping system, you may turn that on, but with personal experience and as other posts and suggestions I've seen, Nvidia highlights does not work well with Fortnite, and it does capture your kills and deaths and wins, but not every time. It's very inaccurate and inconsistent, so I suggest keeping this off. If you are in the competitive scene like me, make sure your record replays is on, just so you can go back to them. But then again, this may also increase the performance and take up drive on your may take up space on your hard drive. So that's all. If you feel like you don't need the replay system, then hey, cut it off. But then again, that's personal preference. Record large team replays and record creative mode replays, make sure those are both off. Then you're gonna go to your sound tab. Sound quality is high or low. That's dependent on your headset. If your headset is under like about $50, I would suggest make sure it's low, because then again, it probably uses virtual sound and not 7.1 and above surround sound. So make sure your sound quality is on low. For me, I keep it on high. 3D headphones, that also depends on the quality of your headset. Then again, same suggestion. Under $50, check the specs of your headset. If it uses virtual sound instead of 7.1 surround sound, I suggest keeping this off. For me, I keep it on. Background audio, make sure that's off, because if you allow anything, including notifications, it will cause your game to go from full screen mode to windowed mode, which then decreases your FPS, which is what you don't want. That is about it for the console and PC settings. I believe that there is really nothing else within the game that you can do to increase FPS on your console. The only thing I can possibly think of is deleting the game, reinstalling, and deleting unnecessary files and other games from your hard drive on your computer, on your Xbox. Another thing is you can run Fortnite and download Fortnite onto an external drive, which is definitely a good upgrade. But then again, you have to find the right one, because sometimes they're not compatible with the Xbox, and sometimes its response rate is just too slow. But just to prove everything that I'm saying, and that it includes a boost into FPS, as you can see previously, my FPS was at under, like, basically 150. Now, max right now, I'm reaching 275, and it's constant above 200. That is exactly what you want. But yeah, so now you can close Fortnite. That is it for the Fortnite graphics settings. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to right click on the start menu. You're going to want to click on run, and you're going to want to go to temp. Temp percent. That's what you're going to want to do. Now, you may have more files than me here, but what you're going to want to do here is just literally highlight everything. You're going to want to highlight everything, and then you're just going to want to either click the delete button or the delete key, or you can click on one of the files or folders and then just click delete. And then when this pop-up appears, what you're going to want to do is just click on do this for all current items and click on skip. These are the necessary folders that's being used for your computer right now. So that's fine. And then once you do that, you're going to want to go to your recycling bin and click empty recycled bin. Before I ever empty my bin, I make sure that I don't have anything in there that is necessary to update anything or to process a video. What you're going to also want to do is right click on the start button, click on run, and then what you're going to want to type in is %local app data %. Then you want to click on OK. You're going to want to scroll down to see Fortnite game. Left click, and then saved, config, Windows client. You're going to see game user settings. You're going to want to right click on that, properties, and then it's going to say read only. Most of the time it's going to be clicked. what you're going to want to do is unclick it and then click apply, then click OK. You're going to open that file and then open it in full screen so it's easier to see all of the code. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find display gamma. Now right here is where it says display gamma. If you can't find it, you can click on file and then you can click on, never mind, you can click on edit, then you can click on find, which is control F. For me, I found display gamma. So usually this number will be at I believe 2.2 or 3.3. What you're going to want to do is change this down to 1.0 with 6 zeros. So 1 point and then 6 zeros. That only just decreases the amount of gamma within your resolution and the colors within your game. So before chapter 2, the grass was like a light green. Now with this display gamma being upgraded from 1.0 with 6 zeros to about 2.2, it just makes everything harsher and just does not look good for your computer. So you're going to decrease that to 1 point with 6 zeros. Next thing you're going to want to do is find show grass, which is usually going to be just 2 above it. And then basically what this does is just decrease the quality that's used for the grass, which honestly I believe is unnecessary. I don't even know why this was added within the game. You're going to change this from true to false. And then next thing you're going to want to do is scroll all the way down until you see scalability groups. Then you're going to find sg.foliage quality. This is going to be presetted to 3, and then what you're going to want to do is change it to 0. This improves your FPS drastically, which is needed. What you're going to want to do is just click on save. You're going to minimize this, and then you're going to click on it, and then you're going to click on properties, click on read only, apply, click OK, and then you can close the notepad. Then you can close the folder. Now, what you're going to want to do is update your graphics card and support assist. So how you do that? You open GeForce Experience. That's if you have a Nvidia graphics card. Once opened up GeForce Experience, you're going to want to go to drivers, and you're going to want to make sure that this says GeForce Game Ready driver, you have the latest driver, okay? You're going to want to make sure that says that. If it doesn't, you're going to click on check for updates, and then it's going to say that you have an update, then update it. That is necessary. Once you update that, make sure you restart your computer so that it's fully applied. But as you can see in the bottom left corner of my screen, it says you have the latest GeForce Game Ready driver. You have to make sure it says that, or else your FPS will definitely decrease within your game. Now, earlier, another thing that I was saying about the Nvidia shadow play or highlight feature, what you're going to want to do is go to in-game overlay. As you can see, it says Control O. That's what I use. You're going to want to go to highlights. Make sure this is off, because if you keep it on, it's going to add files to your temp folder, which is the things that we deleted earlier. That's only if you're not using the system. If you are using the system, do whatever you want with it. The next thing that you're going to want to do is open up Support Assist. Now, I don't know if your computer has Support Assist, but since I'm running off of an Alienware Aurora R7, my bad, it allows me to open up Support Assist. So once you get to that page, you're going to want to go to Start Now, and this menu is going to pop up. Get drivers and downloads, scan hardware, clean files, tune performance, optimize network, remove viruses and malware. Now, for me, I do this every day, which is unnecessary. So this takes way too long, just letting you guys know. So it's definitely going to improve your performance because it just cleans up your memory and gets all the drivers and downloads necessary for every single piece of your computer and every single spec. So make sure you guys do that. So I'm going to cancel that because I don't need that right now. The next thing you're going to want to do is go to your Nvidia control panel. So how you do that? You go right click on your desktop and click on Nvidia control panel. Now I have a lot of settings in here which you guys are not going to understand, not one bit. So I made sure and went ahead to make sure that I allow every single setting that is best possible effect leaving on your computer. So what you're going to want to do is adjust image settings with preview. Most of you guys, it's going to say use the advanced 3D image settings. You are not going to use that. You're going to click on use my preference, emphasizing. Most of the time this is going to be in the middle. Move it and slide it all the way over to performance. Don't apply yet because apply may take a little bit longer than usual or expected. Okay, once you do that, you're going to go to manage 3D settings on the left tab. and then you're going to want to copy all of my settings. So I'm just going to slowly go through this, and whenever you feel like I'm going too fast, just pause the video, make sure you have all these settings on. One big thing, make sure low latency mode is on ultra, and make sure power management mode is a prefer maximum performance, because that will help you out. Now this here, high performance, make sure it's on high performance, please, because if you have this right here on quality, your game will be running at less than like 60 FPS. I promise you. Okay, once that's at high performance, you are ready to go. Now you can click on apply. There you go. Now it's applied. So what you're going to want to do is go down to your search bar and click on or type in edit, and then it's going to pop up edit power plan. You're going to open that, and you're going to click on power options at the top, and you're going to want to make sure you have ultimate performance allowed. Most of you guys, it's going to have show additional plans. Click on down. Ultimate performance is going to be right here. Click on it, and then it's going to pop up here. Once that is allowed, you can click on the X, close that window. Now what you're going to want to do is go type in defrag into your search bar. Once done that, you can open your defragment and optimize drives. Once you do that, find where Fortnite is downloaded onto any of your drives, and then go down to that drive, and you're going to want to click on analyze and optimize. Now analyze is unnecessary, but if you click on optimize, it's going to improve your performance drastically. So you're going to want to go down to change settings, and where it says run on a schedule and frequency, click on the scrolled bar menu and make sure you choose daily. Allow that, and basically what that does is optimize your drive every single day. What you guys are going to want to do now is just listen. Now I'm going to talk a lot, but this will drastically improve your game. So right now I'm running Fortnite off of an SSD, which is what this is, a solid state drive. Basically what that does, it stands still, so it allows your game to be running smoother, open up faster, and just run faster in general, and improve your performance, and leaving a huge effect on it. Now you also need enough RAM. A lot of people game with at least 8 gigs of RAM, which is not necessarily the amount that you need, especially if you're editing videos like me. I don't have any of my editing programs open right now because I'm deleting and re-downloading them for the maximum potential out of them. But you can see Filmora is right here. What that does, it allows real-time monitoring. So in Filmora, it's using at least 8 gigs of RAM. That's why I said 8 gigs is not enough. It's using at least 8 gigs of RAM, which it eats up, to process the best quality and best performance out of your computer both at the same time, so you can see a nice preview of it, which is exactly what you need before you upload a video. Because if you upload a video without enough gigs of RAM, most likely when uploading or processing and rendering that video, there's going to be a lot of micro stutters within it. So make sure that you guys get enough RAM, which I suggest at least 16 gigs. In the SSD, I suggest, if you're going to go for the cheap yet good route, I would say an ADATA 635, which is the one that I have. It basically works at the same potential as a Samsung 860 EVO, which is the best SSD on the market out right now, I would say. And for the ADATA to basically be only 10 write and upload speed right under that, that is amazing for its price too. It's about like $40 in general, and make sure it supports a SATA cable within your computer. But this is just for specs, you know, that's just suggestions. The next best possible thing you can improve your FPS for is by using my code in the item shop. I'm Toxicity TV, because if you do that, you will get plus 500 FPS on your computer. I promise you, I'm not a liar. No, but seriously, the next thing you're going to want to do is make sure you click here and click on this little power button and restart your computer. If you do not restart your computer, none of the settings will be applied. So basically, you just did all of this stuff for no reason. Make sure you guys go and do that. I am recording right now, so I can't restart because then the video is not going to fully process and download. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you guys go and hit the like button, and make sure you guys subscribe. Follow all my social medias, follow my organization's social medias, and make sure you keep up to date with my streams and videos here on YouTube. Make sure you click on the post notification bell so you never miss another video. Then again, guys, make sure you guys have another good day. We gon' start up on your mans at the midnight. Want some diamonds on the watch, get my wrist high. Want the Mac or the 40, I can decide. That boy, you know, they try to be a rich guy. And these guns not a game like Fortnite. Only place that they be shooting is the court side. Leading nowhere like a sword guy. We gonna slide up the